Welcome, everybody. It's episode 225. Everybody's here, even Charmander.
Yeah.
And apparently there's a contest, so we should review that.
Yeah.
Match the appropriate character to the appropriate person on the show. The 4 characters are MacGyver, Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, Tigger, and Eeyore.
Oh, dear.
Hey, Aurora, you gotta get all 4 though. You can't just guess one.
I guess that means Shane's Tigger. This is just like
I'll take Eeyore. No problem. All right, we're talking about the SERE that just happened, and it looked kind of good from reels, but we're trying to dive in and see if we think it was good or what's going on. So let's talk about first weather. Was it moist?
it was cold.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad cold for Atlanta, and people were freaking out with like a 1/4 inch of snow. And so we weren't really sure what was going to happen, but the roads weren't horrible, but I think it still freaked out some people, but there was still a huge crowd of people that were just like, oh, it's barely any snow, And so, it was worse in our area.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I went and looked outside, I couldn't tell if that was sleet or salt on the ground. Like it wasn't nothing major, but they were talking about like state of emergency. Nobody should be driving. And I was like, man, nobody's going to come to the show. But I was told there was 4,700 through the door on Saturday.
I believe
the rumor I heard. Yeah, it was pretty full.
I would have guessed about $5,000. I mean, it was way more than I expected. Like you said, with the complications of the weather. And I don't know, maybe the reptile community not being one to follow trends, if they're told to stay home, that may have played to our advantage.
All the road signs were like, the little overhead things were like, state of emergency, like Shane said, don't drive unless necessary. I'm like, we're coming in, we're like, there's not even anything happening. And then they even closed some restaurants Saturday afternoon. We're like, nothing's happened. Like, what are y'all? It was cold, like the wind was cold, but I mean, we were functional, and they kept that building warm.
Yeah,
like I had a little I brought a bunch of extra stuff in case it got cold in the building. But I had a little thermostat or a little thermometer sitting underneath the hog noses, and it was 75 degrees.
That's good.
So I mean,
that's why I couldn't wear my Charmander hat.
Too hot.
All right, so that's good. Do you think people delayed arriving and maybe came afternoon on Saturday, or do you think
Sunday they did? I really feel like Sunday morning was a little slow, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, was it around maybe noon? We just had like another influx of people. Saturday, I don't feel like it really made a difference. I think people were still coming in when it was opening, so it didn't seem to affect them.
Okay.
I think if there wouldn't have been snow, we would have had at least 50% more people in there.
Probably.
You think?
Yeah.
Do you think it should be moved to March, April, May?
Late February. Yeah. I would like to see like mid to late February, like somewhere between Valentine's Day and the end of February. So it's not within that 2-week period of Tinley. But a couple of reasons, mainly because, well, this weather's been stupid the last couple of weeks for everybody. And I know a lot of vendors had to cancel because of just getting in from the previous snow and then just bad predictions in their areas. But I think we'd be a little bit further out of that, not 100% maybe, but then also like people with more a gap from the holidays and people maybe with their income tax returns already kind of established. I would like that. I'm definitely not going to bug Bob about it because I know he's got to do what he's got to do for that building. But a lot of us vendors did talk about wanting it a little bit later in February.
I think this was kind of a one-off. That's why it was a little bit smaller. Yeah. Because the previous February was on Valentine's Day week.
Valentine's, which was just, I thought was good. I thought it was right.
I like that because that's like my birthday weekend. So a show on my birthday. Woo!
Yeah, exactly.
Do you feel like the smaller size changed anything this time? Like,
I didn't really notice anything.
Yeah,
Honestly,
couldn't really
it still
tell.
looked pretty big to me. Like I didn't feel like. I mean, I know he reduced it and it was in the smaller part, but I didn't really feel that.
It felt like 10% smaller. I know that there was a whole ward that was shut off, but it didn't feel significantly smaller, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Should it maybe...
if you didn't tell me it was smaller, I wouldn't have even noticed, honestly.
Yeah.
That's what she said. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry.
So Alisha laughs when Jessica says that. When I say that, I get the eye roll like, oh, I've heard that a million times.
Listen, we're all 13-year-old boys deep down inside. We just gotta find that person and let them out. All right, that's good. Good. I was hoping you would do like way better because there's like less vendors, hypothetically, same number of people, but maybe because it was moved forward in time, that also sort of affected.
Well, even the vendors that were scheduled to be there, like we had 3 vendors on our block cancel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I filled one table and then Bob filled the other 2 with the plant lady, which was really cool.
And they gave us an extra table that we didn't need either because there was so much gappage.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what % of vendors couldn't make it, or could you guess?
I know those sissies from Nashville were too scared to drive. That's all I know.
I could say I bet it was less than it couldn't even been 10%. I don't think it's probably like 5% maybe.
That's
didn't
fine.
make it. Yeah, not bad.
All right.
It just happened to be Nashville people making the rest of Tennessee look bad. Just saying.
Really.
Well,
I had to differentiate.
From, like, Minnesota actually make it, or are they just stronger?
They flew in. Yeah, I mean, there was no flight issues or anything with Atlanta because there were plenty of people that flew in.
Well, speaking of flying in, were there any international visitors? Because Atlanta's a big airport.
Atlanta's a pretty diverse town. It would have been hard to tell if they were truly international or just locals.
I didn't notice anybody like reptile-based international.
Okay.
People that I would have recognized. Not that I would have recognized everybody, but I don't recall any like European or Asian international like ball python breeders. Those were the ones I would expect to come in. I did not notice that, but they wouldn't have been hanging out at our booth either, but I didn't see them wandering around or anything.
They wouldn't have hung out at your booth.
I know Kate flew in from Boston, if that counts.
Yeah, it kind of counts. Like if it's going to be Tinley South, you would expect people to be like, I want to go there.
Yeah, and there were, there's definitely people that flew in, to just visit and hang out. Maybe it would have been more at a different time of year without the anticipation of weather issues. I don't know. And maybe in 2 years, as this becomes more established and people realize the level of breeders that are at the show, maybe it will start having more of the international influence that Tinley's had. I hope. I mean, I can see that happening.
Do you think the customers, like now that the show's happened a couple times, were repeat guests or were they new guests?
I only saw like 2 people that I'd talked to at the last show.
Yeah.
Everybody else I did not know previously. A lot of people were very, very new, like first time ever to a reptile show again. A lot of them were like first time looking for their first reptile or maybe their second or third. It was, I don't know, Shane may have had a different feel, but it was very heavy pet that we talked to this time, or last time we talked to a lot of entry level breeders. And we didn't sell much this time. And I think it was simply, we actually had sold all our wholesaled all of our pet stuff, ball python wise, not that long ago. So we really didn't have anything on the table that was, I don't know, under $300, I guess, for ball pythons.
Yeah.
And
one of my conversation starters when somebody's browsing is, hey, how many snakes do you have? Or do you already have snakes? And I got a lot of, this is our first time out. We wanted to come shop in person kind of thing. And a couple of people were kind of bagging the local pet stores. They just really didn't have a variety. So they wanted to come out and see some variety. So yeah, a lot of first timers, more than average.
More than I expected to. So.
Would you agree, Shane?
Yeah, I would agree. I did see 2 people that I seen at the previous show. I just know because they hawed around at the previous show, and they did the same this time. I'm like, hey, I remember them. But oddly enough, the one guy came back and he's like, hey, I'm ready to buy an MBK now. And I'm like, I'm the last person. Like, I just randomly had them last time. I'm like, there's other people that actually have them. I don't just have them all the time, you know? So that stood out. Apparently somebody remembered me for MBKs. So that was kind of odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is funny.
When are you going to have them? By the fall one?
Yeah. She's going to have like 20 babies this time because she's like gigantic now.
Nice.
Well, all right. Well, that's good. So we thought the door was good, but maybe we need to optimize for pet people. Like, let's talk about this because it drives me nuts. Like, would you or should you change what you bring to meet the show expectation? Not what you want to sell, but what you think will sell.
I don't think we'll do that because I'm not going to change our breeding plans. And, you know, it's funny. We didn't have a good show. Part of it, I blame myself. I was not a good salesman this weekend. My mind wasn't there. It was here at the house with a snowed in house sitter with 16 dogs. Mm-hmm. So my mind was, I should have stayed home. I honestly, looking back, I should have stayed home because I was bitchy. Okay. I wasn't like
2% more than average.
enough. I felt like I was radiating this, like, you know, I don't know, bitchiness or something. I mean, I was nice to customers and stuff, but there was literally, I sent at least 8 people away from our table to go to someplace else because we just did not have what they wanted. And there were 2 sales that I think I subconsciously sabotaged because I could tell that they came in the door wanting a new pet and they hadn't really researched their hognoses. Mm-hmm. And they kept eyeballing a few of our normal hognoses. And I'm like, I don't want to deal with these people in 2-3 weeks when these things have stopped eating that have been power eaters because these dingbats do something dumb. So I was like, you know, you need to probably go look around at some other places. It's like, I just didn't have it in me to like go that extra mile to force a sale.
That's also a seasoned breeder though, being able to recognize a sale that's going to cost you a lot more than what happens across the table that day.
Didn't have the energy in me this weekend. I just didn't have to give a crap, you know, to have to deal with it later. So, but I don't feel like we had as many. Like the last couple of times we had a lot of entry breeders, like entry level breeders getting multiple animals for
people that asked about hets.
Yeah. And breeding
cared
purposes.
About that.
And I don't remember talking to anybody about that.
Nah. I explained it to a few people like, oh, that's really neat. I'm like,
pure
oh,
pet stuff.
They didn't give 2 rip.
Yeah. So I just don't think we had the right mix for this show, but we're not going to change our breeding plan.
Would you save animals for this show? Not change, but you know, we make animals that are sub $200 just all the time.
I would purposely know that they're available at that show, but we're not savers. If we have somebody that's ready to purchase, we would just go ahead and sell it. But knowing like, oh yeah, this show's coming up, you know, honestly, I didn't push a lot over the holidays anyway, because I'm not shipping out during all that. I'm not shipping out in this stupid weather. So we really not push anything towards like sales. And so I think knowing that next year, this time of year, you know, I will focus on making sure any of these animals that are in that pet level, that I will make sure we have more of them there. And still have our entry levels and our high end stuff, you know, which we had people eyeballing our high end stuff and talking about it, but nothing. Yeah.
I will definitely eat more airborne and zinc before the next show. Because man, I caught the crud while I was there. It's been bad.
Sunday afternoon, we're loading up. He's like, my throat doesn't feel right. Like, oh crap, man. You've been breathing on me this whole time.
Well, you're talking face to face with 5 million people in flu season. Like, you're going to catch something.
Yeah.
Oh, and there was like a cheerleader competition beside us. So they were dragging in who knows what.
Did they spill over and walk through the show?
A little bit. We were kind of wondering why there was all these young hussies running around. And then realized, like, oh, they're just 7-year-olds with like
heavy
40-year-old makeup. Press on eyelashes and like
it's like, what's happening?
ultra red
like,
lipstick.
Really
I'm
makeup up, and I'm like, this is weird. And then I saw one still in their uniform, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay,
All right.
I shouldn't say hussies. They were beautiful.
Yes, they're well, especially in the South, they like to
confusing.
glam up for any sport
Oh, yeah.
activity.
It was done up. I can't say that. I'm wearing a Charmander hat. Look
To talk about appearances.
I will say the show being that early in the year, it is kind of like, I mean, it's not in season really. I mean,
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm not even, my hogs were still in brumation. So I brought like a handful that I had left over. And then that was pretty much the same with ball pythons too.
It's off cycle. It's
Yeah.
unnatural timing.
Yeah. I mean, we brought some of our, we have a later season ball python season. So we had some babies ready to go that we had there. Of course, those are the higher end things. And the hog noses were really a few of the things that were left over from last year. And then a few that had been like slower to get going that finally started power feeding and they were ready to go. Probably really before the holidays last year, but then we actually brumated the babies this year. So I just really shut everything down for 5 weeks. And they've been out of brumation for, 3 weeks before the show and been eating again. So those are the ones we took. So they weren't new babies, but they were new babies on the table.
Mm-hmm. Is there were people interested in a particular morph of hognose more?
The crap we never have.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere,
Lavender.
lavenders. And then I sent them multiple places to get lavenders, and I don't know, nobody ever came back around. One of our friends said, "Oh yeah, people came over to look at the lavender and go, oh look, there's a lavender," and then that's all they would do. They wouldn't buy it.
Yeah.
And then super Arctic condas, super Arctic somethings out of nowhere. Like we had a ton of those 2 seasons ago, and nobody wanted them. And then, so we're like, we didn't even breed them last year. And then this year, they were bugging the crap out of us about it. I was like,
but right across the way from us was Brian Carter, and he had a ton of super Arctic stuff, and he didn't sell much of it.
Yeah.
So I think people just wanted to come see the thing that they saw on Instagram
about it.
and just see it in person.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I had a snake that sold on the way, a ball python. And everyone always points to the one that says sold. Oh, I would have bought that one. No, you wouldn't have. No, you wouldn't have. Because there's like 30 other ones here you could buy that are prettier, actually.
Pretty similar. Yeah.
Oh, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I go.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, I've heard that.
Oh,
forever.
I had 2 of those, though. I had 2 that like came earlier on Sunday and said that they were going to come back for genetic stripes. 2 separate people, both for genetic stripes. And then they did come back all the way at the end, but they had sold. So they're like, oh, I thought you were holding that for me. I'm like, I'm not holding nothing without money.
Do you think, I don't know. I've had some like interesting interactions on Wharf Market in the last like week or two. I'm like, I don't like, I'm struggling with like, do we need to retrain a whole new set of people? Like, if you see it, it could be sold by the end. So don't be pretend surprised on Sunday.
For sure.
We've got a whole generation that's the Amazon kids and the Alibaba kids, where it's in stock. You click a button and you get what you want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have like the what was it called? Craigslist days or the classified ads where you had to call somebody and chase them down. Like, anyway, it's too easy now.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like there's a lot of people that just want to keep going. We didn't have it this show, but we've had it plenty where they just don't go ahead and just buy it. If they like it, just go ahead and buy it. But they're looking for a cheaper deal or whatever. This one family, I knew they did not like my answer. They wanted to put the baby in a 20-gallon, and some Yahoo on the other side of the building had said, "Oh, that'll be fine." These are like, 15-gram hognose babies.
Worms.
And I was like, honestly, we had our little displays, and then we actually sell the little enclosures that are 6 quarts already prepackaged, has a heat pad and all that crap for $35 if you buy one of our snakes. And they were like, oh, but we already got this enclosure. I said, I understand. But if they stop eating, you need something smaller to put them in. Well, they just didn't like my answer. So they went off and bought somebody else's snake because the person, we had several people come by and say, well, that guy over there said you could do it in a 20-gallon. I said, you can do anything you want. I don't know if it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
I told her, like, you're not going to buy your kid a size 12 shoe, are you? I was like, no, you're going to buy them a 4. And then they're going to grow into the 6 and then the 8 and then the 10. I was like, that's the whole trick with the snakes. You put them in a small enclosure and you graduate them up to a larger enclosure. They tend to eat better and they tend to thrive a little better when you match the size of the animal to the tank. Yeah. And then people still just like,
they still want to use that 20-gallon tank.
But I've got a 20-gallon tank. You got that for $20 on sale because it's $1 a gallon from PetSmart. Anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you knew this now, but according to the internet, you need a 4x2x2 for a crested gecko. So that's the other.
Yeah, for enrichment.
Yeah.
Or 6x2x2 for.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, is that the new standard
for? That's the new standard for ball pythons. I heard somebody come up and ask us about one of the ball pythons and said, "There's no way I would put one of my ball pythons in that." And they're like, "What?" But they said, I said, "I don't care who said what over there. I would not do that with my animals." I said there's no need for that much space. And
not for a burrowing animal. I don't think they know what the word burrow means.
They don't understand that. And I try to explain why the babies do better, like where they can feel the sides around them and that they feel like they're in something. Because I said if these things were out in the wild, they'd be bird babies. And people just, oh, I didn't think about that. What the heck? Why do you think they're not eating? You know, God. So I
right. Or if you did put them in a 6x2x2, you'd have to have like an Applegate thing underneath with 200 pounds of cork bark filling in every crack. And you'll never see it.
Never see it.
They'd be gone. Yeah, they would be really happy in there, but you would be very unhappy with the fact that you never saw your animal.
Right.
And they do just fine in a normal sized, enclosure and do well. And so I don't know. It's frustrating to fight whoever these people are that are saying these ridiculous numbers on these animals, enclosures.
Mm-hmm. Do you think one-day shows are better? Question mark, asked Aurora. In my area, Sundays seem to do pretty well.
We like with the few that we've done one day, I really enjoyed it. Like get in, get things done. People there have an urgency. They're going to purchase. You're on the floor for 6 to 7 hours at the most. And then you pack your crap up and you go home. Yep. I did like our one days. I did.
Yeah. Especially if it makes the table cheaper. Because
makes the whole thing cheaper. The whole, if you, depending on how far you're going, you might only get one night of hotel, maybe 0 night of hotel if it's close enough. And then you're not eating out as much, which we spend too much money eating out. And then your table cost is usually lower because they're not, they're not having to cover like the whole weekend of vending.
Yeah, I think SERE wants to be a bigger kind of show, which sort of necessitates a 2-day show, though.
I think it does too.
Yeah.
So that's fine. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe there's too many shows that are jockeying to be big shows? In the East, anyway?
I think for the current state of the hobby, yes.
Okay.
Like there's not the stupid money out there like there was 5 years ago. So there's still tons of enthusiasts. I think the number of enthusiasts is the same. I think it just drew a different crowd 5 years ago. Like you said, or we noticed there's more newbies getting in. And so now's the time to cultivate the fire. Like get those guys excited about it. Heaven forbid that thing that was worth $1,000 2 years ago is only $200 now. It's like, well, them's the berries. Sell it.
Yeah, I guess my conflict with that part is like, yes, it can't be as expensive because there's 100 more of them alive in the world, so it has to be cheaper. But then when people started off really high and then it crashes really quick. So I just want people to start it lower because we know it's going to be cheap because there's not a lot of mid-tier demand for each incremental price down. That's where my feelings get hurt.
I guess what I don't like is seeing the bottom end go so low on some stuff. $20 ball pythons and stuff like that.
Were there $20 ball pythons at that show?
I'm pretty sure I heard somebody say $30 on something.
Okay.
So I mean, there's still those low end animals out there that are kind of pet area, but I'm like, that animal, if that's the only thing that person can afford, which is usually why somebody buys a $20 or $30 ball python, I feel like it's doomed. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being excessively concerned about it. But I don't know. I feel like we've gone so far on the bottom end, and then, we do still see people selling large parts of their collections for lower amounts. And I wish that was done more on the backside or on like messaging and not publicized on the table. Like, by the way, here is this whole category of animals that is about half the cost of what it would be normally or has
Is
been.
it like whole projects? Like they're selling all of their pie stuff?
Selling a lot of something very well wanted out there and selling it for much lower. And other people in the building have the same thing marked at average prices currently, and it's about half that much. And so when you see that happening, you get worried about those, like the way those projects are tanking out pretty quick. And that's where that high dollar goes to bottom dollar really low, because people are leaving that going so far down low on those projects. So when we saw that this weekend, and I'm friends with all of those people, so I'm not going to mention their names, but I'm like, I hate to hear that. That's how it happened. So
are people giving up, you think, on?
They're reducing their numbers significantly.
Okay.
I didn't see none of it because I just paid attention to my table. But I did notice Alisha had a Wookiee genetic stripe. That was the other snake I seen. Bam.
Is there a picture of it on somewhere? Instagram?
Probably not. I suck at that, Jessica.
We need to hire a promotionalist person. We need to hire.
All you gotta do is take a picture or a little video.
No, because they're so mean. The whole clutch bites me and my hands bleed.
They are
They're
bad.
awful. And like, I mean, this is beautiful Wookiee monarch, and he is so gorgeous, but he just, and I'm like, I just give up. I just can't deal with him. I'll try to take a picture of him this weekend and post him.
We may have to medicate him if we try to sell him next time. Like,
he's
sedate
terrible. He's terrible. Their whole clutch is like that. I don't know why they're so mad. But they're beautiful, but they're not fun to get out of their enclosure. They eat great, really good. Whatever you give them, they'll eat. And so, but they do like to bite your fingers too. So I'll get them used to me eventually.
Do you think?
Oh, you know what else happened? There was the competition again.
Yeah, there was.
Yep.
Did everybody submit a ball python or hognose?
We all forgot. In the
I forgot. But Troy won the best recessive, so that was like 15-minute lame brother over there taking home the.
He did
what
good.
was the morph that Troy won with? Do you know? Combo?
Something really.
It was a clown. It was a clown.
Is it on his Instagram?
I think it had hurricane in it, maybe.
Oh, the hurricane calico spot nose yellow belly.
It's a whole bag. That's
that sounds right. That sounds right. He won best in show.
He won best in show. Yeah, best recessive and best in show. Yes, and then Flawless won the best gecko. I don't even know who won the best colubrid. That's awful.
Jeff, I don't know
what
JMG. I'm sure it's a hognose, but I don't know what combo.
What it was.
And then I don't know who won best non-recessive.
It was like a paradox pied looking.
Oh, well, it was an ivory paradox. Yeah. That thing was cool. I did see a picture of it. That was pretty cool.
I don't lose this.
Let's check Jeff's JMG.
But so that happened. That was pretty cool. Congrats to all the winners out there. Sorry that we messed it all up, and whatever. I was vending. I couldn't. Wow,
no, you didn't mess it up. Do you think people understood what was happening better this time?
Well, I will say this. So they added the colubrid category. So now there's that. So there's 4 categories. And now it's all a one-day process. So you turn your animal in the morning, and then you get it back at the end or towards the end of the day on Saturday. So it's not sitting there for 2 days like the previous one, which is pretty cool. So then you could still sell it on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's where I messed up, though. I forgot to enter in the morning. I just squirrel brained out and yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
What would you have submitted if you'd remembered?
I was gonna enter the that Russo Pompeii variant, but I actually sold it a couple hours into the show, so I'm glad I'm glad I didn't enter it because I had it was an animal that was for sale that I was going to enter. So
we had this really pretty he's a super conda red line albino that basically he has to have Arctic or something in him because his whole body is whited out with his scale behind his scales are orange, and then his head looks like a flame. I would have probably entered him, and then we probably would have entered one of the pastel Wookiee monarchs because they're wicked looking. They're wicked.
The hognose you would have entered on your Instagram?
You wouldn't think we own phones.
No, it's not. It's really neat.
It's super neat, everybody.
Love it.
It's like a S-shaped animal. It's got like a head and a tail and a middle.
We're terrible. I totally admit that we're terrible at doing that stuff.
Yeah.
So
actually, I tried to make an Instagram post.
Oh God.
And it was actually loud. There's a lot of noise going on. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, I'm trying to hear it. I can't hear it. It's like, I think it sounds good. Post it. And then I get like a message from Bash Coder Craig, instantly. Is like, hey, if you need help making a post, let me know. Well, I tried to overlay music and it muted me, so nobody could hear me talking. It was trash.
No. It was bad. It's just him talking to the screen with music playing. It's like, oh, so wrong. So we deleted that pretty quickly, but it's on Facebook still because I realized I didn't delete it.
Why are we looking at my
I'm
Instagram?
looking for your pin pay. So
no, God, it would never be a pin pay. It's all the way up to the right. I would never have a pin.
I thought it was a pin pay. Oh, it was a Russo pay.
No.
This thing?
Yeah. That's a badass animal.
Mm-hmm.
I have seller's remorse now. Yeah, it's sold.
That's so pretty.
Congrats. I would show off the Harbin snakes, but
no.
They got a Polaroid of it somewhere, I think.
Probably. Okay, fax it to me and I'll hold it up.
Fax the picture.
That was a cool story though. So there was a guy, a big guy. It was hard not to see him, and he walked right up. It was like he's seen it across the room or something. He walked right up, scanned the QR code, and then I was like, "Oh, this guy knows what he's doing." And he's like, "You tested this for gravel through Phenome?" Because I had it in the notes on the animal, and then I was like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Do you take Zell?" And I said, "Of course I do." And it was that easy.
Those are the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are so nice.
No haggle, no nothing. And then it turned out I talked to him for a little bit after he made the purchase, and he's doing Hypo Clown Pompeii variations is his goal. And he's a newer breeder. We're from right there in the Atlanta area. So, and his name was Noah. So Noah, if you see this, shout out to Noah.
Shout out Noah. No, yeah, that's cool. That gives me hope.
Yeah.
Dreams.
I found it really encouraging. So there are newer breeders that, have a goal in mind and aren't looking for the $20 animal and I'm going to test it for every het under the sun and try to get lucky. He had a goal and a vision and knew exactly what he wanted. So those people still do exist.
They're out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We had some adults on the table, and there was two guys specifically that came back and they were eyeballing them, and they'd look at it, then they'd call their buddy, and then they'd disappear. And then 30 minutes later, they'd be back on the phone with their buddy, well, they got this and they got this. And then they were stack them together and trying to make pairings. And they ended up not buying from us. So I don't know what the deal was.
I don't know what they found.
They also never engaged us. I was like, hey, if you got any questions, blah, blah, blah.
And they never asked us about the pairings. I actually strategically line them up so that if there's a male that a female goes real good with, I actually pre-set it up. So if somebody really looked, they could see that this pair would make a pretty badass pair to put them together. And I try to do that to help people out, but I don't think people realize that I'm doing that.
I
Well,
think so many people have this thing at home. They've already got the
Yeah.
20-gallon aquarium. They're trying to find something to plug in. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know how many people go there to buy a male, female. I think they just want
Pair.
to find the other component.
Yeah.
Did you sell many adults?
0.
0 adults.
Which is
Crazy.
weird because usually we sell multiple. Now, that being said, we'll probably sell a bunch at Tinley because we usually sell a reasonable amount of adults at Tinley. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to move some of those. And they weren't cheap adults. I'm not, we didn't really take anything. I think like our least expensive one was like $250. And they went up to like $700 and $800. So they're not like just, they weren't junk snakes, or not that we're going to sell them for junk either. Like I'm like,
none of them had a comma in the price.
No, I mean they weren't that bad, but no, we had a lot of lookers, and then the other thing was weird, and I'm not going to blame it at all on this, although I kind of started noticing it on Sunday. We were at an end cap, and then on the cross from us was Brian Carter with his end cap, and he had all his hogs. That's all he has really now. And on his sides, he had some baby hogs. And on another side, he had subadults and adults. And I had sent several people over there like, hey, he's got subadults and adults. We don't have any. And I saw him selling a lot on that side. And then I saw him selling a few on this side. Nobody was buying in the little lane between us. It's like they would sit there and feel weird and then move out of the way. And I'm like, I wonder if our end caps were too close together because people were almost trying to get out of that little lane. And then I don't think either one of us sold a lot on that section. So that
have you ever thought of paying someone to look at your inventory and just like go like, oh, that looks nice? Because sometimes like you need one person to stop to form a crowd.
Create a buying.
I would give someone $50 a day just to like stop and point and take pictures and then come back around and do it again.
Yeah. Totally, because it never fails. If we have 2 or 3 people like in the purchase process, then we have 6. We just didn't have enough people in the purchase process this week. Like they were just like him-hawing around, or they would move out of the way because I felt like people were behind them because they were so close right there. So I don't know why. It was weird because then the main row was to the right of us, like where Shane was on that, but that row never looked crowded. But the rows over looked crowded. So I don't know. It was a weird flow I think we were in too.
I think too, we're basically right in the middle of the room, and everybody comes through the front door and takes a hard right or a hard left. And they think they're going to start at one side of the room and work their way over. And then you get lost and you hit the monster tank and you start getting like jazzed up on monsters. And it's a zigzag. So, but it seems like they never go down the middle aisle first. They always run to the edges.
Yeah, there was a weird, especially on Sunday.
Yeah.
What Alisha was saying, there was like this weird void, especially on my little block row. It was like I'd look around and then there was like people everywhere, but not on my one little stretch for some reason. It was a ghost town for a long time.
Yeah,
that part drives me nuts because honestly, like it's just like it just happens. It just forms like a phantom braking event in traffic. And I'm like, you know what would solve this? It's just somebody standing out there just like being like, and so sometimes I'll do it to myself, but I don't know. Maybe you can't fix that. It's just like how it goes. But I think
it's like schools of fish though. They kind of go where they go, and there's like the crowd like and something's steering the crowd. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's one of the people
weird.
up front.
I did feel like the flow was weird, and we all kind of stood around and looked at it like I don't know what you'd do different. I'm sure not going to go bother Bob about it because I don't think it was anything that they could really adjust. It was just weird that we noticed how the flow was odd and exterior. Yeah.
Shane, you had one table plus a bonus table for free?
Yeah. My neighbor didn't show up. He was one of those Nashville people. And I just filled it in. Extra tablecloth.
Do you feel like that helped by making you look bigger? They're always like two versus one table debate. Like, does the extra real estate slow people down?
I mean, it might have helped. I don't know. I didn't have much on that other table though. Like 6 hog nose and like my 2 little t-shirt stands. I was just like filling the hole, Jessica. That's what I did.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
she
we
said.
did sell. We sold one T-shirt.
I sold 0.
I feel like t-shirts only do good the first time you enter a city for the first time.
Dude, that's what I'm saying, because the very first Southeast, I sold 27 shirts. So then I'm like, oh, I need to stock up on shirts. That has never happened ever again. Ever.
Yeah, I think once people have your shirt, they're like, I got it.
I already got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but something else was on fire. There was somebody else that was like doing really good with extra items down there.
Yeah, Josh did do well with
I
his.
sold almost every piece of plastic that I brought. Like I've always taken these little 3D printed things, and they were selling like hotcakes this weekend.
That saved our butt.
It did. So I've got like racks for thermostats to sit up at an angle. I've got the pro clamps, and then I sort of brought some random stuff to take, and then people were like, I need some of those.
And then the mainstay clips for the
those
shoe
mainstay shoe boxes. I made some better clips so the lid's more secure and they stack better.
Are the mainstay clips on your website? I looked for them.
No, because I can't keep up. Like word of mouth, I can barely keep up.
Like we just now got caught back up on inventory that we've got to ship out in the last couple of days, because I mean, he literally, like, I was having to pull them out. I was like, I've got to have these clips for our shit. And he's over there like trying to sell them. I'm like, no. I need these things, and then you can sell them. And he sold everything that I didn't use, which is fine.
But I think kind of like Shane's t-shirts, I think once the certain right number of people get them,
yeah,
it'll fizzle.
We did have some orders for the ARS, the Herpstat.
Yeah,
the racks, the thermostat holders, and that will kind of help. We're not going to count it towards the show, but it will kind of help our numbers for the show, because it was discussed at the show, and the orders are coming in for that. So, and that's nice to see that.
Jessica, that is kind of next week's task, is to try to get those on the website and just start taking orders. And
yeah, I was trying to buy some, and I was like, I guess I can't order them yet. But then I don't know, just never happened.
Dude, they're pretty popular, because when we did the last Nashville I had adults on the table, and people kept coming up to the adults. I'm like, oh, I got somebody for the adults. And they'd be like, hey, where did you buy these clips? And I'd be like, next door, his name's Josh. And I just kept around. Nobody wanted the adults. They just wanted the damn clips.
Dang clip things that this guy has. Yeah, just send us a message and tell us what you need.
I've got a pretty good looking blue that you'll like too.
Yeah, that's your stuff.
All right. Apparently there were ads. If there were ads, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I was trying to reduce the number of ads specifically for Shane. And maybe I accidentally turned on, because there's a version of YouTube Lives where it'll play ads on a live. That's normally off. So if I accidentally turn that on,
I did see one. Because I watch it on my phone as we're going, but
I can't do it. Like I don't know. I may just turn all ads off, because who cares, honestly. But then I need that $1.
You just never know. It might just save you. Get it. Thank God for plastic this week.
I got an email saying I made like $7 and something cents, and I was like, oh, that's pretty good, because I haven't put out a video in a long time, so I'm pretty happy with $7.
Something, man.
Yeah, normally it's like, I don't know. For me, I normally watch YouTube on my desktop, so I just skip and I just move on with my life. It's fine. But since Shane listens to it at the car, I'm like, oh yeah, that would be a problem if you get a 40-minute ad about.
Oh gosh,
Quinn Talon, Quinn Talon and his bloody butt. I'm like, dude, I don't care about Quinn Talon.
We get Dr. Goondy and your leaky gut.
Your leaky gut.
He's always talking about the bad food.
Yeah. You've had 3 ads? That's
Holy
crazy.
Crap.
Sorry.
You just tanked our episode, Jessica.
I know. What the heck?
But I think if you buy some from those ads, then you get a cut, Jessica. So.
Well, but go buy something quirky, and then I'll turn them off. Because you can tell it. Because right now, what YouTube does is, if you turn ads, you monetize it, it'll go back and it'll put in 30 potential slots in an hour and a half long video. So not all those get served an ad, but that's a time
Oh.
where like an auction could occur where people could compete for that slot.
Mm.
And so I'll go back and delete a bunch of them manually because I'm like 30 is excessive. But then I was messing around. I was like, you could make it do it so it's no more than once every 30 minutes because I would make it like 3.
Yeah.
But maybe I touched something, so sorry.
Oops.
Good going, Jessica.
Right. And then you could have premium so you don't get ads. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. So we thought it was a pretty good show.
Yeah, we'll keep
Well,
going.
yeah, I mean, just because I sucked and we didn't have the right things doesn't mean it wasn't still a great show. I mean, it
Did
was
you have
still,
that RBF?
Arby's.
I have that problem. It's okay.
I did not. Somebody else said she might have, but I don't think she did. So I don't think she did. She looked nice to me.
Okay.
Alisha, yeah. The weather was the abnormal situation, and that was the curveball. But there's nothing we can do about
well,
that.
I mean, and then
And you were not hateful to people.
well,
But
no, but
No.
I wasn't also. So like normally I'm like a little bit more. I get up to the front. I'm like, hey, what are you breeding? Blah 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 blah. You know, like when I see people. And this time I was like, I just don't even freaking care. I don't want to talk to anybody. And I wasn't like mean to anybody. I was like, hey guys, you know, I would just like wave and talk to him, but I wasn't as engaging and inquisitive and as I usually am.
so we
because-
take an adult ball python, Frankie, for people to hold. And I was like letting some little kids hold him, and they're, you know, washing their hands before they held it, whatever. And after like 6, she's like, put him up. There's too many people touching him. I'm not taking him home. I'm like, I've never put Frankie up before.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was like, put Frankie up. Well, that and like they take up so much of your time standing there holding this ball python, and then like
Yeah,
I knew I wasn't getting anything sold, so I needed him behind the table trying to sell something because I could tell I was just in Suckmill, and so I was like,
when I hold that snake out in the aisle, it draws people in, but no.
Well, like the well of social generosity can be dry. Like, you know, like you come into a room and you're like, oh, I'm not ready to perform in this way because it's a
yeah.
And sometimes I am, but sometimes I know I'm not. And I know I'm psycho from the beginning. And I'm like,
we feel like this is bad. Well, like we were out to dinner. Was it Saturday night? And like our friend Brent was like, "Are you grumpy?" I said, "Yeah, I'm grumpy." And at first he wanted me to sit next to him. He was like, "Okay, never mind." He's grumpy. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm grumpy. I want to eat and go home."
was there any thievery at the show?
I didn't hear of any.
I didn't hear
That's
that.
Not that I heard of.
Mm-mm. Nope. I
Alisha,
didn't
do
hear
you
of
get glammed up for shows?
Nope.
Yeah.
I sit.
Sometimes you'll put makeup on.
Okay, so Saturday morning I put some mascara and like a little bit of like powder on.
What'd you put on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday that week?
Nothing.
Yeah, so
And
she
then
gets
Sunday I
glammed
was
up.
like, I don't care what I look like. I just walked in there like this. I was like, whatever. It's like I don't wear makeup, so I don't
Quirky's got a point. Maybe you slacked in the makeup department. That
because I just was like blah.
yeah.
Josh, you're sleeping on the couch tonight, bud.
Shane, did you put on your makeup?
I put on some beard balm, and
my beard
I
under
had
control.
I had clean fingernails. That's
Yep.
all I could do. You know,
All
my
right.
head was shiny. I was smiley.
Yeah.
I'm obviously
I told a whole bunch of people they're not holding a snake. There was that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People wanted to hold hog noses too, and I was like, oh, I can't get them out. They're real hungry. They'll bite your fingers.
There was a higher than average request to hold snakes.
Yeah.
And I
Do you-
attribute that to the snake discovery thing being in the corner. That definitely draws in that crowd.
A pet crowd, yeah.
Do you think these are people that knew about snake discovery and then came to walk the rest of the
Some of them
show,
were
or
dressed
they were
up.
just like,
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
dressed up in the whatever
Okay.
garb. You can tell they're part of that.
Yeah, there was some Pokemon theme. I had one lady walk up and she was all excited. So then like I returned the excitement, like, oh hey, whatever. And then she's like, I just got done holding a bunch of snakes. And then she pointed to like my best snake on the table, which was like I have it like over $5,000. She's like, I want to hold that one next. I was like, nope, I don't bring animals out.
No.
Like, I don't know what snakes you were holding, lady. And
I have no desire for that.
No.
Did the old bodybuilder boa guy show up? I'm assuming.
Are you talking about Palumbo? No, he wasn't there. The old bodybuilder. Man, that dude was a tank back in the day. World class athlete.
Kind of. He's doing pretty good for his age.
No, I didn't see Palumbo there at all.
Quirky goes to shows cleaned up. Don't want to look like a bum. Yeah, I put on my outfit, this thing I want to present, and I'm not homeless looking, but I don't necessarily, like, I rub my face and eyes because I'm dying and I have a migraine, so I don't put on makeup anymore.
I did notice one thing, or people told me. So, I have my beard's a little different, and I was wearing black shirts all weekend for Reptile ads.
True.
And like people didn't know it was me until they heard my voice, because I wasn't like the red. I always wear red.
And we always wear orange. Yeah. We always wear orange.
So that was kind of cool though. So I was like, oh, I'm kind of incognito.
Were there any?
Yeah, we're picky about what we wear. Like, we only wear our bright orange shirts because we want people to be able to pick us out, but neither one of us are going to be wearing like anything crazy or wild. And I don't ever like doll up anyway. And I never wear my hair down unless we go out to dinner and he forces me. But because I don't like my hair, like when I'm leaning over and grabbing stuff, I don't want my hair in my face. So I'm never going to be like fancy.
To me, it's like business time, not babe time. But like maybe it's
Alisha could. She would put on the red bandana and the little jade necklace.
Lock in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be too far away from Dave. Isn't he outside of West Palm Beach?
Yeah, he's way down there.
Yeah.
He's not in the close part of Florida. He's in the way down there part of Florida.
Like way, way down.
What dinners did we have in a time when some were closed? Were we able to acquire sustenance?
Friday night was an absolute delicious meal, but service is lacking for what it costs.
Yeah, that place is good, but it does not have good service.
Really good steakhouse and just spotty service.
Yeah, there's a lot of places to eat around there. We went to a Mexican restaurant on Saturday night, and they got to us really quick. I felt like quick for our party size and accommodated us, although there wasn't a lot of people probably there because it was snowy for them. Now, I heard, and we take our own food anytime we're at a venue because we just don't want to deal with it. But there was apparently like Saturday at the venue, there's like a little Chick-fil-A like hut. And then there was like the regular vending hut, and people were standing in line for like an hour to get their food. And then Sunday apparently was worse. And so I don't think it's like a great place to not bring food to during the day if you don't want to eat.
We figured that out early on in the show circuit. Like, just pretend you're camping, because if you're going to go stand in line, that means you're abandoning your table for like an hour.
Yeah. So take food.
Jamie says, neither of us are going to wear anything wild, crazy or wild, as Josh is wearing a Charmander hat.
Yeah, as he's standing here like, oh, we don't wear anything wild. And there he is.
So I'm gonna tell you a restaurant story. So this is like total like racial stuff. So I call around on Saturday. I'm like trying to find a place for dinner. I'm like, Italian, this, that, and they're like, oh no, we're closing at 3:00 because the weather. The weather's supposed to stop at like 2 or 3.
It's already done.
So then finally, I'm just like, you know what? There's Mexicans. They're not shutting down. So we went there and they were just like, hola, amigo, come on in. I'm like, I got 14. They're like, whoop, put all the tables together.
Right,
here you go. And I was like, that's right, man.
And when Shane mentioned, he's like, maybe we should go do Mexico. I'm like, yeah, why aren't we doing that? They're going to be there for us. We're going to be good.
Yep.
They will sleep in the restaurant if they have to, you know.
They were
all
there.
The white people were shutting down, like, you know, it was like like there was a blizzard in town or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, man.
What was the word they called it? It wasn't inclement weather. It was like incumbent weather.
Yeah, like it was like
it was an election.
Or something. Like this is going down. Man.
Deeply confused about snow. That's good. We love that for them. Mexicans are getting that money. Good for them.
But that steakhouse, I gotta say, that steak there is one of the best steaks I've had in a very long time. But their service is so poor for how much it cost. And that was our second time being there. And like, they know they're so bad at service, they just like hand out these $10 coupons, just like, oh, we sucked. Here's $10 coupons for everyone. Yeah. That's what brought us back this time.
Because we had the coupon from last time. Yeah.
Yeah. So we go in there, we're like, oh, it's not busy this time, so the service should be good. No, they still suck.
Still suck. Yeah. Like finally, our friend Brent had to get up and go to the bar to get his Coke refilled because our waiter had disappeared for like 20 minutes. And I mean, we were there, almost an hour, almost 2 hours, I think, total, with it not being packed. It was weird.
Yeah. It's like, well, if I do some mathing real quick, it's about like $70-$80 a person to eat there.
Yeah. It's not cheap.
No.
Is that one you have to drive to, or you could walk to?
Oh, it's drive. It's driving. It's not that far though.
Super short drive.
Short drive.
Like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
We couldn't walk. There was a blizzard.
Like, not alcoholic drinks. Like none of us are drinking there. It's just $70 just to eat your food and get like maybe even a water.
Right.
It's not cheap.
Yeah. Good. That's not for me.
The other thing was when we get our tabs, they auto tipped.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then the final receipt says, right here to add a tip, and they wanted you to double stack tips.
Like no.
Yes. Yeah. They add 20% to your ticket automatically, and then they got another one wanting you to tip again on top of that. And I was like, what? This service
the
sucks.
second one had the math already done for you, like 18, 20, 22, and it was the resultant amount. I'm like,
no way, this guy wouldn't got 20% if we had the choice right now.
Right.
Yeah. Tipping culture has gone insane. If a restaurant ever wants me to fall in love with it, no tipping, and like everyone gets like a living wage. What about that? Is that a crazy idea?
Yep.
Yeah, actually pay your employees.
Yes. Less math, just
right.
food.
I'll pay more for the food. Just work it out that it makes sense instead of making it like a game. Yeah. Quirky goes to Burger King when he rolls a 0, so respect. I usually like order in a pizza like the first night because I don't feel like going back out. Is that weird? To the hotel?
No, that's smart. I mean, that's why we bring like sandwiches for lunch, and we eat cheap when we're there.
When we're there, and we did do breakfast. Sometimes we have our own breakfast too that we bring, and I'll make it in the microwave. But then they have like a $5 breakfast at the Holiday Inn, and I just pile it up.
So we go to it's a buffet, a freaking buffet. You know how that works? You walk up and grab a plate and you just eat. Well, no, not at this Holiday Inn. I go to walk towards the buffet. I'm following Alisha. She's already beelined.
I'm gone. Nobody's stopping my ass. I was hungry.
I get intercepted, nearly tackled by this waitress. She's like, "Oh, sir, you've got to sit down, and I'm going to take a drink order, and then you can go get in line for the buffet." I'm like, "But okay."
She just goes, I couldn't figure out why he's sitting down. I was like, "Why'd you sit down?"
So I'm sitting down, and
I just got a big old pile of food.
And I'm like, "I want a hot tea." So she goes and gets the hot water out of the spigot, whatever, and then brings me the packet and like kind of does it for me. I'm like, this is not how buffets work. That's why buffets are cheap.
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to be the labor. But anyway, then Alisha comes back, plops down with her big old plate of food, and I'm sitting there with a cup of hot tea, waiting to eat. Anyway, it was a weird food weekend for us. But
yeah, it's all right.
Well, I got a pro tip for you guys. If you get the little IHG app, and you're like, if you book your room through there, then the breakfast is included.
What?
You don't have to pay the $5.
That's a pro tip.
Booked through there.
Pro tip, baby. You just got to make sure when you reserve your room that it says, mine says free breakfast included.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you have to have the app, or you can just be a member?
Because we're members.
I use the app.
And because I felt like that's what I had gone into the app to do it. I don't know anymore.
Yeah, it was $5.
Who gives a crap?
Do you think if you said that you were a veterinarian on the table, people would be more likely to buy?
We don't want to advertise that. because that just opens Pandora's box.
Do people ask you for like health advice
all day long? And I'm not licensed in that state, and so I'm not. There's a lot of legalities behind being a veterinarian and not getting your license messed up. And so for me to sit there and even talk about animal care to a certain degree, and there are plenty people that they see on our card, it says DVM. They're like, "Oh, you're a vet?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a vet." And I don't think that necessarily sells more animals. Maybe it helps some people feel more comfortable when I do give them some advice. But I really try not to tell people that I am like openly, because I'm on this phone all day long answering people's questions about their vet stuff, which I don't mind, but it does take up a lot of my life.
We had initially discussed getting her like the doctor's smock in orange, and she'd play the vet thing, and then I was going to get like a white shirt and a tie and be like the nerdy engineer type, so people would know what we are. Now we're like, no, we want to hide, we want to blend in. We're just a couple of
regular people, just normal people.
You would have like half the show attendees and vendors lined up to talk to the vet.
Yeah, about stuff that like there's certain things I'm very comfortable with talking about, and then there's things that I don't know, like I don't know all that stuff, and so for me it's just easier just to kind of avoid it. But then when somebody buys stuff from us, I then say, hey, by the way, I'm a vet. I don't do reptile medicine, but I know how to take care of these animals. If you get in a pickle, I need you to contact me immediately so I can tell you if there's something I can help you with husbandry, or if I think you need to see a local reptile vet if it's gotten that bad. And so then they're very comfortable at that point. They're like, oh, okay. And so I do try to let them know to get a hold of me immediately. I want to be the first line for them to talk to.
Yeah. I would want to avoid answering questions about their tegu or whatever.
Yeah, I have no idea.
You know what I mean? Like,
got 4 legs.
They're not going to buy it from you. They just have a tegu that's sick and they've left it alone for 4 months, and there's like, is my tegu going to die? They're like, I don't know. Yeah. I'm not even looking at it.
And I have enough of that as it is. I have enough people that already know that I'm a vet that come and ask me those questions. And it's usually somebody I already have a relationship with, so I don't mind answering that. But then if somebody overhears, oh, she's a vet, I'm going to ask about the snake that's at the house that's been doing this. I'm like, this is not my wheelhouse, guys. And that's what a part of what ruined my dog show days is everybody knew I was a vet. So all day long I was doing vet consultation for free, and it wasn't free for me to go to vet school to learn all this crap.
Her mom would go run around and harvest people like, oh, my daughter's a vet, come over and show her this dog.
Mom, I was off work finally. I worked 60-hour a week. That's back when I worked 60-hour weeks. I'm like, I'm finally off work doing the thing I love, and you've just now introduced work back into it, and so it just became an extension of my job. And so I'm trying I want to be open and helpful to people, but I'm also trying not to be working all the time. So
you start telling people you're a dentist.
Yeah. Quirky says you might get a free table, but I think the only way you get a free table is if she went there as a vet.
As I did work. Yeah.
And I don't need a free
table. I'm good. I can pay for a table. I'm fine. Right. The amount of work that I should get paid for a day as a veterinarian, which I don't, that table is not worth it for me. So I'd be better off to stay at home and go to work.
Right. Do I put on the host of the Holdback podcast? I used to, but I don't anymore, because I think the more I do this, the more I'm like, different people are different customers at different times. So like if someone is another breeder or baby breeder, I have a business card for the podcast. But I don't think the average customer in a 2,000 door show or 4,000 door show is even vaguely interested in listening to people talk about how shows went from a vendor perspective, because they got a crested gecko. They love hognose. They want to watch snake discovery with eggs hatching. They don't really care about the minutia of the things that we care about. So, but if I thought about this all the time, like, maybe I should have a separate channel that's just like extremely casual, like pet information stuff. Like, what's keep it simple, stupid corn snake cage, hognose cage? How do you regulate temperature? If I had something like that, I would definitely do that. But I don't think this is for them.
This
You
is for the
No,
people who like spreadsheets and charts. We want data.
Yeah.
this is for
Well,
super
it is-
nerds.
Super
Yeah.
nerd.
Well entrenched nerds right here.
Even when
Right.
you get into all like just not even like your show recaps, but just your general stuff that you release is kind of helping us as breeders analyze the industry to make sure that we don't let our hobby just tank us into the ground. And so, that's how I would, interpret your podcast. And so,
Right. But I think this would like hurt pet
Yeah.
people's feelings. They're like, why are you talking about snakes
Yeah.
like a number on a chart?
Yeah, I don't think pet
And-
people would like it at all.
No. And I don't think of my snakes as a number. They all have names. They're called sparkle pants. I love them. I want the hobby to continue in perpetuity.
But by that logic, a farmer should grow like one cow and one stalk of corn.
Right.
And then the
Right.
Ford should make one truck. Like everybody should just make one boutique thing. That's not how it works. You've got to mass
No,
produce
right.
to make things make sense.
Right.
Think
And
about
we
mass
have to
producing.
like analyze what you're doing logically.
Yeah.
We have to still kind of interpret this hobby as a farm and like what is our supplies? How are we how are we knowing what we are keeping for our future? And how are we knowing what is going to be moved into the processing product, which is being sold to pets and other pet owners and other people? So we have to analyze it like that. And if a pet owner would not understand what the hell we're talking about. So.
Right. And I think it would just sound bad.
It sounds cold. It sounds
Right.
cold. It would.
Right.
Yep.
This is Are 5 transfer intolerance tests legit? Question mark, Alisha. Vet advice?
Hey, I'm blocking this. Leave Alisha alone.
I don't even know what it's about.
Are you talking about see, I've never used 5-strand. I only use Heska. I do not use food. IgE testing on food is not reliable in dogs. The only true test for foods, intolerance to foods, is food trials, 10 to 12 week food trials on protein sources. So I will not use blood samples or saliva samples for any true diagnostic testing for food intolerances.
So you can test for antibodies for food in a dog?
They do, but they're not reliable. Even if you talk to the veterinarians that work at these big testing locations, they're like, don't use the food. I'm like, why do we have them in there? Like, people like it, but people like it and it confuses them because it looks like it's a reasonable test. So usually if I do the test, I actually drop that part of the test and reduce the cost of it to the owner because I know it's not reliable. And if you talk to a dermatologist or even a GI specialist, they're like, it is still gold standard to do a true food trial, elimination diet.
Is it a ELISA test?
No, it's not ELISA. They tested for IgE markers for different antigens.
Interesting.
Seems like a lot of tests are unreliable.
Oh, there's a million out there that are unreliable. Oh yeah, there's a lot.
I'm assuming dogs get like leaky gut anyway, so one thing might be the thing that's there.
Yeah, I mean, I see,
but like they have
IBD.
antigens for everything.
Yeah, I see IBD in dogs, not probably nearly as much as we see it in people. But their food is a little bit better controlled than our food also. And as far as consistency, I guess, in a diet is helpful, but I see more derm cases for dietary intolerances than I actually do leaky gut issues.
Interesting. Well, thanks for being a vet.
It happens.
It happens.
Did you see her switch into gear? Man, she gets into work
She's locked
mode quick.
in. She's locked in. Any other? Yeah, you are a good sport. All right. Well, any other final thoughts about the show? We're all signed up for the fall one. I'm assuming late summer.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt.
I really like that show. Again, if anyone on the Southeast team watches this or whatever, they do a phenomenal job, just like
They take
getting us
such
all
good
in and
care.
out, and like there's vendor packet, like here's your parking, here's your like it's all just
It's
lined
in a
out.
packet. It
It's
is-
they've
it
set
is
the
so
standards.
streamlined.
They
It
have
is-
raised the bar.
It's like they came over at one point when we already started loading. Like they're like, "Hey, do you need a pallet?" And we're like, sure. And they come over and they drop a pallet, and they just drop pallets at some of the, end cap people that have a lot of junk like we do. And then once our pallets filled up and we got stuff ready, they're like, hey, you ready? And we're like, yeah. And so they come with a pallet jack, and they pick that sucker up and they head it straight to the ramp. They're like, get it up here. He backs in and boom, boom, boom. We loaded all that crap in less than 10 minutes.
This is awesome.
Because they're there helping us load it. They treat us so well at that place as vendors. And I think they treat they treat everybody well. Like everybody coming through the door. It's by far, even though we had a really bad show for us, financially, we still had a good time. We had a good show. And without a doubt, it's still our favorite.
Shane?
Yeah. I love that, Joe. That show. It was a good show for me. I got a fluke, and yeah.
It was a fluke that it was good?
No, he had a good thing happen. Yeah.
Randomly, I did a bunch of shows, I don't know, over the past year where I had all these ugly animals. This one, I just happened to have pretty animals. The ones that didn't sell to people, somebody came and bought them all towards the end on Sunday. So I left with just like a couple expensive animals. So quantity wise, it was my best show ever of like getting rid of stock. So I was happy.
That's good. Yeah.
And that shows that there's people out there that still want to buy ball pythons in bulk.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
The market's
and I don't feel like your wholesale prices were not low. They were very still reasonable amount of money that you got for beautiful animals. Like I got a deal because he's got some pretty stuff, but you still made money back off those animals too. And so I
would say it was like totally fair for both parties.
It was really a very good deal. And like, that was cool because he was like, I can't believe this is going to happen. I was like, we had something like that happen to us at Daytona. And it's not as much income as it could have been long-term selling each one of them individually, but the relief of that, especially when you don't have another show coming up for a while, is like, those animals went for a very still good price. And that guy got some really cool stuff. He's going to be able to put good prices on and still sell. So,
yeah. And like, in the back of my head, just so everyone knows, like I already knew going into that show, I'm not vending another show until August. My next show is the fall Southeast show. So I have a long stretch where those animals, those aren't like really, I mean, they're all pretty, but they're not typical like online sales that I would typically make. So
they're your true pet. They're your pet, like a nice high-end pet. And so it's still, like you said, not something you would really just be pushing on your online sales.
Like Disco Inferno clowns and
stuff.
just like all just pretty stuff. Yeah, whatever. So I was happy.
Quirky, that's a weird question. Do you shave your head in preparation for the show? Make sure you're freshly shorn.
Are you a dog groomer in real life? You got a lot of grooming questions. But yes, I do. I have one of those head shavers, and I do it the night before. And then by the time I leave, like I still haven't shaved again since then because I just said, screw it. I came home to working in the cold. So, a little bit of prickle helps keep my beanie on.
It's so funny. Quirky's had some good questions tonight, though.
Quirky, do you put on deodorant before you attend a show? Please tell me you do.
Well, were there any new vendors? Because like maybe there was a switch up that you want to, or a snake at a table you saw and thought was really cool before we go. If you want to like share some love.
I seen a really cool snake. I just gotta give a shout out to Mike Kano, Fabled Creations. He actually had three of them. He had Stranger, Blackhead, Hypo Clowns. They were really interesting looking.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I didn't look at anything. I didn't leave the table.
Damn.
I seen a Wookiee G-stripe in real life. That was cool.
You did.
I was really tempted by Adeline Robinson's recent drawing. She did a hognose.
Yeah,
a normal hognose.
If you go to her Facebook or Instagram and look up Adeline Robinson, she just finished up a beautiful Western hognose normal. And it's a huge piece. Like I was like, oh, please be a tiny piece so maybe we might be able to afford it. We can't afford that thing. And it
I
was
was hoping we were going to sell, I don't know, 2 or 3 snakes and
Yeah.
maybe go get that thing. But
like, nope. So, but it was so pretty.
Did you want to buy the original?
We wanted the original.
Yeah.
so we might be able to circle back around and get a hold of her when we've actually got a building where we can put it in and display it. But yeah, look how big it
God,
is.
it's huge. And of course,
That's
you
what
look
she
at
said.
Yeah. When you look at the detail, I mean, you stand there in front of it and you can see the killed scales on everything. And it's just the fact that she put that much time into the detail of it. Just a beautiful piece. She already had some prints ready. We probably could get a print. I mean, we can afford that, but I really wanted the original, but it was a $2,500 price tag. So
You can tell in a lot of reptile art where people kind of hurry up after doing 1,000 scales. They're getting kind of tired and they're kind of scooching on through. But hers, everything was perfect. I was trying to look at it and find a flaw, and like it was.
The
everything
face
was well
detail was so amazing. Like just staring at its little face, I'm like, that is about as good as it gets, and it was gorgeous. So anytime anybody's able to see her stuff in person, do it, because it's amazing. It's amazing to watch her do it, but then just the detail that she puts into these animals. So.
Yep. See, my head's getting hot.
Are you sweating?
It's Charmander.
It is hot. It's a hot little thing. I don't think it'll fit on my head because I got a.
It fit on my big noggin.
Josh, do you get a haircut before we go, Van? Josh, do you get like it freshly?
Absolutely, I get a fresh cut before.
Do you cut your toenails?
I did a mani pedi on myself.
Whoa, not the dogs. Get the dogs.
Yeah, I did.
That was free, everybody. You don't have to pay for the after show with the dogs.
Nice. That's awesome.
All right, very good. I'm glad it was good-ish. A lot of times, like if I do bad at a show, but the show was busy, I'm like, well, it just wasn't my time. And
It
so
just
it's
wasn't
fine.
us, and that's how I feel about it. It wasn't
Right.
like
if it's busy and they got people there, you just didn't have the right stuff for whatever reason.
They did a great job advertising. Like their advertising's badass. Like there's no doubt that they're putting a lot of money into it. So I know they did everything they were supposed to on their side.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Shout out SERE.
Yes,
Let's
definitely.
say goodbye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.